Hi-oh, beaver! Away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Critscast. You're joining us for the ETF2L Highlander Prem Season 25, Week 2. We've got SDCK reigning champions versus inVision. Two different maps this week. We're going to have both Product and Gullywash. Joining me on the mic is going to be Dave.
Yeah, the action isn't letting up at all. We've got probably the biggest match so far. inVision, obviously, currently the new UGC champions, actually, coming into face against the defending E2F2L champions.
But we are seeing a slightly different SDCK roster to what we've seen in past seasons. And on the topic of that, shall we have a quick squiz through here, Dave, of the rosters? And it's looking pretty powerful on both ends, kicking off this product match.
Probably the thing is inVision will be hoping is that Utka stays alive this game. He's been timing out a lot recently, but we are going to go live.
And of course, yes, Scout's so important for this one. Both teams now on the rollout. Let's see what the outlast of this first mid is going to be. A significantly faster rollout from Murphy here, doing a decent chunk of damage to Zio. Actually gets him down to 25 at the start of that mid there. A really formidable start from them, but no aggression being unhinged just yet. May going down to Stinghan. He's going to get the first frag of the round. Kafka going behind as well, applying a lot of pressure to inVision, but 3 players down on the side SDCK.
Yeah, inVision managed to get a big bomb in from Jackie Legs, gets some damage down onto Zio, but Zio's just about surviving. Not enough coordinated aggression, but does walk into a sideline. Porky picks him up from China. Gedu is nicely safe, presumably back in sport. So it's going to be a large Uber advantage for SDCK.
Yeah, picking up that.
They might even push before Zio gets up here.
Yeah, that 12-second spawn is really punishing. They're missing May and Clark right now, but with that heal advantage and of course the Uber charge just on the cusp as well, it's a pretty good pause for them to be in. Some stickies on point from Stan, and they're just going to start with forward. Bath is taking a big old chunk of damage. Murphy just charging forward, trying to get what he can. They're trying to sort of big dick the point. Stan it going down. They collapse on the hill. Zio so weak. He's getting chased down, but May manages to slip away with 35%.
Wow, that was crazy how he got that there. So many players go really deep with him all the way down to Cliff. I see Meza going for a pick. Does pick stinking up. So a lot of players down on both sides. At the moment, SDCK still have control of the point. inVision just peeking and prodding a little bit. We've got a mini up there. Mezzo is again lurking around the house area. He's coming up behind Zio very shortly. He's going to go for it. He misses the stab. It's a big beef. He does beef once on Stan, eventually picks Stan up. But the cap does come in through inVision, but they've lost a lot of the key players they want to keep hold of this point. So while they have to worry about the Uber, SDCK have just decided to walk forward straight away.
Yeah, they're taking advantage of the 3 players down, and Jackie Legs trying to get that force off. Not only does a decent chunk of damage to Zio, and does actually get that force off, but the point goes to SDCK. 40% Uber now for Gedu, and they are way out there. It's going to be Utka backing up on that point, and SDCK very much in the driving seat in spite of their 30-second disadvantage here.
Yep, now they're in a very good position. Nice chunky Uber. They've got Stinging down as well, so they don't have to worry about all those sniper sightlines. They can play aggressively on the point if they want. At the moment, everyone's just playing back, getting nice and buffed, and inVision really still waiting for an opportunity to go for something a little bit aggressive. Tercio trying to hunt down Misso, who's sneakily escaping again. You can see the whips coming in from the soldier. Kafka is going to go for a bomb very soon. There's a little bit of a fake bomb backs out. The Uber actually comes in from SDCK. I don't know if that was forced, but it's not the best. Murphy going really deep, but easily cleaned up by Tercio, so they really only get Stan for that. Kafka in once more, getting so much damage out of it, actually just pushes inVision out off a single bomb alone, and they're getting really nice cap time here in inVision, and still have 100% Uber.
Yeah, it really looked like inVision forced their hand there. SDCK super aggro over that point, but it really didn't look like they wanted to use. But inVision 2 players down, it's going to be their pick classes, so a bit more free reign over this point. T. Borden does try and kick it off just a little bit, but we do see the counter Uber coming out. Zio in hand with Utka, managed to get Gedu, which is of course that Olympic. They're quite happy for that time to tick down, and we are seeing a little bit of counter from SDCK side. Jackie Legs is in. Doesn't quite manage to get anything, and the players from SDCK are just crumbling. They're going to have to wait for those spawns there. T-Borden 10 seconds away.
Yeah, that kind of Utka solo Uber coming in, always a big dangerous threat, and Gedu was caught out slightly too far forward in pocket, didn't have enough players around it with him to rebuff that aggressive scout Uber, picked up very ably That's something you always have to look out for inVision. Uko is just such a menace going forward with those Ubers. Catches him out, and now it's going to be Ubad once more. The flex actually played really aggressive here from inVision, just heading SDCK back behind the house. They're looking to get Porky into the game. He has his eyes set on Stan, but he does manage to swivel out of there. So SDCK have taken some position back, but again they have to worry about this Uber coming in very soon.
Yeah, they've got a good 20 seconds, 10 seconds. They're starting to pressure the cap now. They give a bit of damage, and they do actually get the force out of inVision. Jackie Legs goes behind it, ready to cause a little bit of trouble afterwards. Stan going so deep there, but no players ready to receive his stickies on the side SDCK, and they're just going to have one last chance at it with this Uber charge. It is up. Gedu has... They've got Murphy in hand, and it is going to be a pop here. A decent amount of stickies behind that point. Nobody on the cap just yet. They're just trying to pressure inVision out, and they are more than happy just to play this time.
Yeah, Borden eventually going down. They get position on the point inVision. I don't know whether inVision want to fight this. They seem to want to. They're committing with a lot of players down right now. Stan's really far forward. Jerkers gets a key pick onto Murphy. Big bomb in from Jackets.
Oh my
he gets
god,
headshot just as he was about to find the decisive rocket onto Zio. Zio will survive. That's an excellent shot from Stinkin, saving his medic, and inVision take the first round.
That was not quite what I was anticipating. SDCK just couldn't find their feet. They were getting really crushed by those sort of Phaler-esque Ubers coming out of inVision, and Gedu just went down in every instance that inVision wanted him to, and they've really got to find their feet if they want a chance in this product map.
Yeah, Murphy a little bit faster to mid, getting slightly pressured by Uka, takes a decent amount of damage, but both teams get in behind their rock. A lot of players on Cliff for the inVision side, while more players have rolled out concrete side for SDCK, but Jackie Legs being the victim of that, seeing Stinger go Cliff, picks the snipe up onto him. Big bomb into Kafka.
Ooh.
Going behind, but cleaned up very quickly. Gets a bit of damage down onto Gedu, but nothing doing. Lots of players on SDCK still nice and healthy. Now they decide to pressure across the point. Aliski taking so much damage, but he does pick up Stan before he goes down. And now Murphy's got free reign, no counter Demoman, so he can walk across the point if he wants. Porky picks up A6. Oakley goes down on the flank as well. So SDCK have all the picks they need if they want to continue this pressure. But Barth is just wants to walk forward. He gets dropped.
Zio Uber's on nothing. Yeah, Kafka does get picked up at the end of it, but he's just going to be a little bit of a scapegoat as inVision reconvene in the main area, trying to make Stinghan a little bit of room. SDCK taking that first cap. Murphy going down. That's a lot of pressure down for SDCK, considering they've got no Uber charges to hand, so it's going to be Stan's season here, but a lot of SDCK players ready to pounce from concrete as it stands, but nothing decisive just yet. Jackie Legs does bomb in. Two huge safe rockets and manages to pick up Zio and Stan. That's an absolutely huge opening.
Yeah, that's a huge play from Jackie Legs. Not really much support from the rest of his team, but just picks it up on his back. Big bomb in, picks up the two most important classes for him to frag in that situation. And now you can see inVision slightly shell-shocked. They have to wait for their heals. They have to wait for their demo man before they can push once more. The time is taken down for SDCK. It hasn't been the best play so far.
Kafka nearly gets 3 rockets off onto the medic there. Really tight there for Gedu. Sorry to butt in, but we are going to see inVision slowly edging that cap over the line, but Murphy has got something to say about it. Stinghan waiting to pounce, as is Barthis. Tercio going down is certainly going to confuse matters, as SDCK do have this Uber charge, and it looks like they want to use it on Murphy. They're going to have to go as deep as possible here, because Zio is so far back, but May manages to chase just about deep enough.
Yeah, Zio was caught out having to leave main as the Uber came in. There's so many weak players on inVision that you can see Zio wanted to stay forward, wanted to keep the heals in the team, but does go down for it. Nice Uber coming in from SDCK. And now they can just chill. There's a big bomb in from Kafka, and again gets launched in the air and picked up nicely by Jackie Legs. But yeah, at the moment, while there is some cap time coming in, they're taking this opportunity. No, it is dry at the moment. No Uber up for SDCK yet, while they do have an advantage. So the cap time does come in for inVision pretty cheaply there. But SDCK want to plough back forward. Aleski pushing across the point, picked up by Stan, and now counter aggression coming in from inVision, who have more players. The cap does go in SDCK's favour, but inVision, if they want, can walk forward here.
Yeah, of course, they're really content with just ticking down that clock. They have lost 3 numbers who are just coming up around about now, but it's going to be a bit of a tall order. Uber is going to come out. They're really going to have to punish Zio here if they want to stop them from getting the Uber, and it looks like he's way out here, so inVision lining up for another push, but they've got a big old chunk of time to make up for there. A nice bomb from Jackie Legs onto Kafka as well does indeed extend the spawns of inVision as well. They got a decent bit of cap time, and it looks like they're trying to pressure as best they can.
Yeah, they're walking in with a few players out. Uka does get Murphy, and then Big Bob coming in, then searching for Gedu. He's out of there. Porky picks up Stan as well, who was going super deep. Warden flames everyone down. There were some picks, but a lot of players have gone down for inVision. I didn't even see where Zio went down there.
Yeah, really unfortunate for them. SDCK, a real turn of the tides here. They've been playing the advantages. They've constantly been on the front foot, unlike what we saw last round. And again, they've got that 65% Uber advantage. Playing aggro on that point, they know inVision are just going to have to bum rush it, and they're quite happy to play that around Aleski. But as I say that, he gets absolutely mullered by Stan Sickies, and it's going to be the last potentially fight of this round as Uber comes out of SDCK, Gedu and Murphy charge it across that point. Barthis tries to do what he can, but there's nobody on the cap for inVision. 10 seconds remaining, 5 players up. So weak, all of the players. Utka's trying to do something. Kafka comes in as well, but Mini doing an awful lot of work. Stinhand managing to pick up Murphy, and it's just going to be the final hurrah for point. And with only 2 players able to commit there, it just slips out of inVision's hand. But with the time advantage SDCK had, you can't really blame inVision at that point of the game.
Yeah, I think the key thing there was one of the times where they kited the Uber. They didn't even lose that many players, but Zio had to kite all the way back to spawn, was disconnected as well. So, and then they tried to come back in once they lost the players. They just kited it a little bit less. They were up to 90% and pulled straight back in. It would be better for them for sure.
Some really good initial damage from SDCK here. Stan pretty much rendered redundant. Eventually it does receive an arrow there, but Porky doing a huge amount of work. Kafka seems to try to eliminate him, but gets absolutely mulched as he lands. But it's just going to be a back out here from inVision, losing too many numbers. But all importantly, Zio does survive, as does Gedu on the side, SDCK. But again, a pretty clean mid from SDCK here.
Yeah, and Jackie Legs jumping all the way back to his own cliff to pick up the kill onto the Spy Jerkus, who had been caught out. So Jackie Legs just roaming everywhere at the moment. Just in and out, just fragging every which way, and at the moment doing a lot of work. And we can see SDCK, they just look a lot more cohesive these last round or so. inVision in a little bit of disarray. They're doing mostly what they want, but Uber comes in very, very early.
Oh no!
It's going to be a trade. Tercia's actually juggled in behind, but picked up very quickly as well. And inVision, the most impressive about, if they pick Murphy up here, which they do. They get him down, so now they can start to walk up. But it's not really as many players as they would have won. They have good classes, but there we see Stan picked up by May. Just far too many numbers for the side of SDCK, and inVision going to have to go back, tuck their tail between their legs and repush shortly.
It looks like inVision are almost failing to walk on to the point when the Uber comes out. They're going so deep, there's no pressure on cap during that time. But they're just still sitting on their side of the map and not gaining any real advantage off the back of it. Sure, they get Gedu, but then they've got no players. All they've got is that spawn advantage of the players when they all sort of sack off. But we are going to see yet another bit of a melee here. Utka going down to May, and it's going to be a huge collapse there. Stan and Kafka picking up a couple of really meaty frags, and Gedu going down as well. It's going to be a free hunting season for inVision as Aleski and T-Ball try their best to pull something out of the bag. Jackie Legs bombs in. He's on Zio. 2 rockets get Stan as well.
Deja vu of a few minutes ago. Isn't pretty much a full wipe Clark the only one surviving. He will probably get chased. No, he wins a 1v1 because it survives as well. Still a Mini doing a little bit of work, but Clark is the sole survivor on his team. But Gedu's actually scored with a little bit of an Uber advantage. You see inVision wanted to fight the point, but they're going to lose players if they fight it without these heals. SDCK very quick, just pressure forward, knowing they had the heal advantage. Jackie Legs going in for a big one, will get picked up, but Porky picks up Zio as well. So continuing no heals for inVision. They didn't even get buffed up, but they do have numbers. They can flood forward now. You can see Utka's on the chase. He's going super deep.
He's so deep.
Gedu, he's behind him. He's beefs a couple of shots.
Oh, come on, no!
And doesn't measure. Gedu up. There is Jurkus in the backlines, but he's burnt down by Borden as well, so Gedu will escape out of there.
Well, that was a little bit clutch and a little bit lucky there from Gedu. So SDCK net themselves a nice 70% advantage, and they're going to have another hurrah at this point. Stinghand trying to line up, trying to eliminate this advantage. Stan getting picked off by Mezzo is going to free up that left side of point just a little bit more, and Murphy is taking all of the space presented to him, and they don't even want to use this Uber.
They're taking so much space up this portion area. You can see the medic is on cliff, so if they use the Uber here and they get a good jump up onto Zio, well, but Jackie Legs is going for a big jump. Nice serve from Zio, somehow escapes out of there. Still Jackie Legs is on the hunt. Zio darting and weaving into house, but does escape a beautiful little mini serve. Not going too high in the air, making the frag easy, but just getting lots of horizontal distance. Beautiful medic play.
And Jackie Leg survives in spite of all that, landing in the middle of inVision's nest, and Kafka going down, as does Mezzo. So 50 seconds are left on the clock for SDCK. They're holding really aggro with the super. They know it's going to be a trade, and it does pop off.
Yeah, it's a trade, but Stun gets launched. It gets launched twice during this Uber, getting nothing done, and immediately picks up with a body shot. Now they've got no double. They want to plow forward. Kafka in with a huge bomb. Lands engages face, but gets whacked down by the melee from Porky. So continuing surviving miraculously. Both his medics doing such a good job until Mezzo comes in, picks Zio. He wanted something to say. A little bit of caster's curse there for Zio, but still heals in the favour of SDCK. Lots of players on the point, and it's just 5 seconds left.
Oh my god!
To make a move now.
Porky has been absolutely popping off. He disassembled the combo push from inVision, and then he's just been popping heads every single time somebody peeks up from concrete. He's given that space by the rest of his team, and he just completely eliminates every single threat to his team. He takes the sniper down, he takes the demo down, he takes the heavy down, and you know, it's sort of at the tail end of that round, but it was so important for stunting inVision's momentum there, and SDCK guaranteed 1 point from this fixture going into the 4th mid-fight. Murphy again, pretty rapid.
Yeah, much faster. Gets a lot of spam down into that main area, which all the players from inVision were trying to walk through. They're not too worse for the wear. They are going to press forward immediately, but a big bomb from Jack Legs picks up Stan, but a counter bomb Kafka picks up Stan on SDCK as well. It's an absolute melee across the point. A6 getting some damage. Focus fire seems to be slightly better from inVision at the moment. They have a couple more players, while Dickmann just launches himself in, going for something. It's absolute chaos on the point, absolute cataclysm. But Murphy will go down to Jerkus as well. I think inVision might just about sneak this.
Yeah, looks like they will, but pretty keen for a refight are SDCK. Stinghan getting picked off, as does Utka, so just pressuring this cliff area really, really hard. Cap about to tick over on the side inVision. We got the spike coming in. Mizzo manages to pick up Tercio. That's pretty huge for them. That's a lot of space open. A bomb from Kafka. One rocket denied by T-Borden, and he manages to finish off the frag as well. Jackie Legs looking to get the return onto Zio, but it turns like it's the pipe follow-up into that pocket area, and they are just disassembling inVision's offense here.
Yeah, getting 4 really quick picks there on the side of SDCK, and then Jackie Legs coming in again with a huge bomb, coming in behind, just cutting off Zio's exit, just enough to allow Murphy and the combo to push across the point. They pick up the Uber advantage. Now for the first time we've seen an SDCK forward hold, and they have a large Uber advantage.
Yeah, it looks like they're really keen just to tick down those early minutes and put themselves in a really good pulse to close out this map with the maximum number of points. Mezzo managing to rack up a 7-kill streak thus far, and he is still running rampant. So a bit of an attempt to push out on this open side from inVision, slowly taking this going down.
Yeah, Stan with a huge bomb just as they wanted to back up on the SDCK side, just jumps in and shine, picks up Murphy, forces the Uber out, so now it's going to be a big advantage, but the players are crumbling here from the inVision side, just a couple up. Zio's going to have to run back to spawn, not building this Uber too well. Again, they want to walk forward before their spawns come in. I think they want to take it in very sharpish because they know they've already lost a minute on the clock this round. They do have an Uber advantage. Can they get themselves in position for this push?
They've really got to be wary of SDC's pick classes. They are absolutely running amok. Mezzo is down at the minute, and Kafka is going behind, trying to make something happen, make his team a little bit of space. They do Uber out, but what for? You know, it looks like they're going to catch Aleski. They are on the cap as well, but not the most fruitful Uber charge you'd hope at this stage.
Yeah, that was a kind of hot potato Uber that they just wanted to pop it, wanted to go as deep as they can. They didn't have the info on where the medic was. They didn't really know what they were doing. Utka kind of wasn't really leading it. They were mostly on stand, and then Utka had to wait around. Didn't get as many picks as they want. SDCK back up to 100%. They still have all 9 players. Murphy just barreling across the point. Going to go for a big bomb, but nicely reflected by Tercio. Meer to jump. May is going to run into
Jerkus.
the demo man.
Jerkus manages to pick up Gedu in the chaos of the SDCK cap there, which puts their team in a pretty good pulse in terms of retaking this. Of course, they are still a few numbers down, but they've net themselves a near full Uber advantage, and Gedu still not up means SDCK are not very healthy boys coming into this fight. They have got a minute 20-second advantage now, but Zio left on his own as they walk in.
Yeah, Zio's getting disconnected an awful lot in these last couple of rounds. Whilst they do have Uber, they're going to be aggression coming in from SDCK before the Uber comes. Luckily, he survives, so they're actually going to take this cap for free. Although they do use the Uber, I don't see exactly what force. I don't think there was too much damage down onto Zio. But
No,
the force does come out. It's going to be a slight Uber advantage for SDCK once more. But inVision are going to take the point. They've got a decent position as well. Murphy wants to go forward. But walking through main, they pick stand up as well with Mezzo going ham once more.
It's not so much the picks Mezzo's getting, it's that he's just got infinite survivability as well. He's just such a menace. So SDCK trying to sort of bully their way onto this cap, and they get it pretty successfully in spite of Murphy being down. Stan obviously not there from inVision, so it does complicate matters just a little bit. And picking up another 3 frags, SDCK have put themselves in an even better position to take down this last 50 seconds from inVision.
Yeah, you can see inVision want to walk back in now, but the flank is already down. You can see they're stuck in a corner that's a heavy and a medic. Both teams are 100% there. They're just cramped in the corner, no pressure at all from them. They've got a couple of picks now, no combo up for SDCK, so Big Bob once more from Kafka. Some cap time coming in. Stan's going to walk forward, get the force out of SDCK, and it's a counter Uber now coming in. Can they get it onto Uka to change? He does get the tail end of this Uber. Going to go deep, but nicely puffed away by Borden, and now he'll walk forward. No combo now for inVision, and Team Borden can just run forward. Mezzo in behind as well. So many fights. It's a complete wipe on the side of inVision. SDCK just have 10 seconds left. They're going to take this map.
I think that's the first full wipe we've seen in the entire game, which is quite impressive really, but yeah, holding forwards now, just making it completely impossible for inVision to get onto this cap, and they close out 3-1. It was a really ropey start for them, but they looked bloody strong in those last 3 rounds.
Very, very impressive in terms of a cohesive unit just going forward together. You know, they had their moments where stuff didn't go well for them, but then it was always Mezzo or Jackie Legs would come in with a clutch, just a big play, and once more it would turn in their favour.
We have a little look at these logs from map 1 product. So instantly screaming is the demo men going a pretty even Stevens on the damage. Murphy picking up, you know, about 10 DPM more, but 7 less frags and 4 less deaths than Stan.
Real thing that's standing out for me is this SDCK flank. You got May top fragging, then Clark is second with Mezzo as well, both on 24 frags.
Hope that inVision can pull up their bootstraps for this map too. It's going to be Gullywash if they want to try and take some points from this week.
We didn't see Gullywash last season. It was taken out the map pool for Lakeside. Back in this season.
What are you anticipating here? Do you think we'll see one team being pretty dominant on the map side and constantly pushing the other team's half, or do you think we're going to see a lot of back and forth here?
I think it will be back and forth. You know, I think SDCK, they've played this map a lot. I think they know exactly what they want to do on these mid fights. You know, often these mid fights they can come down to who, you know, what picks the sniper gets in the first couple of seconds once he walks up the banana area. Yeah, both these snipers are phenomenal, but I think if inVision want to win this, they're going to need Stinger to really pop off on these mid fights. Perhaps one of the interesting things to point out, of course, is that, you know, inVision obviously they did lose that game earlier to Failure this week. You know, it might be enough for them just to win their 2 final games if they were to lose here, but I think certainly any points they would get here would make themselves much safer in terms of getting into the playoff spots, which will definitely be their target for this season.
Hopefully shouldn't keep this ticky along for too much longer, but and as I say that, we are hearing the countdown. This is the start of map 2. It is Gullywash. It is the season 25 Prem Highlander European Team Fortress 2 League Week 2. SDCK versus inVision. SDCK taking the first map 3-1, netting themselves a minimum of 3 points based on what happens on this map. And as I say that, we do see restarts. Oh no.
Oh, mega bait. Okay.
Oh, it's the wrong config, was it? You hate to see it.
Well, Let's do your intro again then, Meer.
Yeah, we may as well. It's ETF2L Highlander Prem Season 25 Week 2 official SDCK versus inVision. We did see SDCK winning product 3-1, and now it's on to Gullywash, a whole new map. Murphy again pretty fast, but does get pressured really quickly by Kafka. May having something to say about it, so do slow down inVision's initial aggression there, but both teams just quite contented with spamming each other out, trying to slow down the pace of play. Porky picking up Tercio is a really good opener there. And we do see, again, Zio, Stinghand, Porky pick up all 3 frags of the mid so far for SDCK, and they're just cleaning house. Gedu manages to slip out of Big Door and survive the mid fight as well. 2 outstanding players for inVision. It's going to be Stan, it's going to be Jerkers. And they are in a bit of a sticky spot here as SDCK are piling forward.
I think I was right that the sniper was going to be decisive on the mid-fight, but it was the other man, Porky, coming in with 3 so crucial frags. Stan getting pressured in this river area. Just trying to get some spam down, but it's going to be Uber coming up here. For SDCK, they just want all their players in position before they go in. It's mostly denied very well by Tercio, just air blasting everyone. And getting so many times, and one spot does go down to Stan as well. Not too many frags traded for either side, so inVision have the choice to whether they want to push out with no heals on the SDCK side, or they want to wait for this Uber. At the moment, you know, there's so many players that they have to be wary of a potential backup, but it looks like they want to take this out pretty soon.
Yeah, taking advantage of the heals being down on the side SDCK, but Utka and Zio are so stuck in the mud on second. Zio actually pick up Jackie, which is pretty funny, but they have lost 2 combo members, and I think they're going to have to call it off here, because they're in a real danger spot if SDCK choose to bust through this big door.
Yeah, it looks like they're still waiting for a couple of players to join them up top before they want to commit to the low ground, but no cap time coming in. They've only now been able to get their scout and their spy towards it. Mezzo is giving lots of information for SDCK, so they know exactly where everyone is going to be on the second point. Murphy wants to take his forward, going to try and get some spam down towards Zio, but again, Zio is separated from his team. He has 100% up, so they could go in with this Uber aggressively, but you can see that Stan is still stuck in his own lobby, separated from his medic, so only now are they going to be able to go press forward. The SDCK are peeking this stroke really close with the Uber coming in. Uber comes onto Utka, picks up Murphy really quickly, blasted a little bit, so Gedu will be able to sneak out of Big Bull unless he goes down. So many frags in inVision's favour, and Borden picked up as well with Jerkers shooting him down from a long range. And SDCK, they were so aggressive, wanting to stay deep in that mid-fight with the Uber disadvantage, but they've been bullied completely out of it.
Yeah, that was some insane early damage, even before that Uber from Stan, and it really did sully SDCK's chance. Of course, they did have to pop that Uber charge for it, but in picking up Gedu, it does mean that they, again, are trickling these advantages along. Locking out that midpoint is still 0-0, and inVision trying to rotate as quickly as they can through choke, but they are both a heavy and a soldier down, so a lot of potential space makers down, and Ejaculate goes with a huge bomb. Gets reflected by Tercio. Stinghand going down as well on the side inVision, so we're going to see a bit of an exchange potentially in this choke as T-Borden also goes down.
It is add once more. They're going to use it straight in, knowing there's no power to blow him. Oka going really deep. There is a high heavy that they have to worry about. Zio's walking towards him. Is he going to win the fight with Tercio? Tercio does go down, but the Oka comes in to save his medic from that heavy once more. And inVision just about have enough frags, so they're going to be able to bully SDCK back to last, but once more SDCK have 100%, so we're in this slightly awkward situation where inVision want to get aggressive, want to get into lobby, but they have to be wary of the SDCK Uber advantage. But it's also, you know, it's an absolute nightmare to try and push out of last when all 9 players are up for the defensive team, even if you have a larger Uber advantage like this.
Yeah, it's hard enough to keep track of all the players in 6s, but when you've got spies involved and the sort of rapid spawn waves and just so many things to juggle about, it can be a little bit sticky. But we do actually see on side inVision, has Stinghand just been subbed out?
Looks like it. I certainly saw him warping around, struggling with this ping earlier on the first map. It seems he's come out. It's going to be Lionel Messi coming.
The man himself?
Yeah.
Wow, wow. He's changed discipline. That's a huge signing for inVision. So they do lose a couple of their numbers. Ubers are now equal, so we'll have to see how things pan out. Bath is going down. It's certainly going to complicate matters for inVision. And We're just going to see, again, potentially an opportunity for inVision to pressure once they've got these spawners up. They're quite contented with taking their time. They've got 9 minutes on that round time, but I can imagine they're not too keen to tick that down all the way. So they've got a little bit of time to muddle their heads and figure out what the play is from here.
Yeah, they're definitely content with this situation. You know, they did such a good job, pushing coast to coast. Now we're going to see Banner coming in while an Uber train is in as well. Everyone's so far forward in this shutter area. There's a set trigger they have to worry about as well. Porky picks up too much of the spot. A lot of players going down for inVision, but Zio will probably just about get out there with Stan. They're not sure where they want to leave. Zio, for some reason, wanted to leave up top when surely Shutter would have been the better option. Now gets dropped down to Big Door, but there's a lot of players on the chase. Murphy wants to push the forward door. He's actually sneaking off behind Stan, but he somehow serves the heavy bullets just about over the sticky, so will escape. And while the second point will come in for SDCK, Vision still have control and still have their medic and now all their sports up as well.
I really must comment on Porky. He seems to just explode and get 2-3 frags at a time, but A6 is coming in behind Gedu. Oh, gets a decent chunk of damage off, and it's going to be enough to get the 4s out of them as well. Such a far back Uber pop by SDCK, picking up Tercio as well. And we do see Prazu trying to make a little bit more room as SDCK recede their way back to last. Just 5 players up on their side. inVision at 2, but they have, of course, got the spawn advantage. They are coming forward. Stan gets Murphy with, I'd say, a trap you would expect.
Yeah, I think you'd normally expect to see some stickies on that shutter on Gullywash. That's kind of
I don't know. But,
but yeah, 100% now for inVision. Stan coming up to an 11k. They're just wanting to get their players in position before they take this in. Gedu's still only at 50%, so Uber not going to be a factor for SDCK. So Uber now comes in. It's going to be Stan mostly coming in. Mostly denied. It's actually juggled back into River again. Really poor entry to the Uber and a complete crush underneath for the side of SDCK. Jackie Legs and Borden just melting everyone. Gedu does go down to a nice headshot by Lionel Messi, also known as Prazuba. And SDCK, they just have so many players. Zio's managed to get out of there once more, but SDCK have so many players to push on to second. Even without the heals, they're going to be able to take it. And Zio hasn't even built Uber very well, so it's not going to be a particularly large advantage either.
Yeah, we're still seeing 2 big fat eggs on that scoreboard, but a surprising amount of back and forth, I must say. So SDCK trying to cement themselves in this choke. Tercio has a little bit to say about it, but Jackie Legs fumbles a bit, slips down, but is not going to be at any risk. Receives a nice rapid arrow there from Gedu, so it's going to be a little bit of time to feel each other out, build up these Uber charges. Both teams on about 55%, so I can imagine that these teams going to convene, try and deduce what they want to do, and it looks like inVisions want to be the one to pull the trigger, and it has been anticipated by SDCK rotating back from choke already, but it could be a little bit of a fake out. We'll have to see what the spies are feeding in terms of intel.
It also might be that inVision think they have a larger Uber advantage than they did because of the way Degu went down, but then Zio wasn't building, so it looks like they want to take this aggressive. They think they have Uber advantage, but Gedu just about comes up. Zio gets juggled. Is he going to be able to get out there? He's actually come in super hard. Uka gets juggled up above, but the chase is on board and just melting down the sniper. And a big saw coming in from Zio, but still borders on him. Another saw, but eventually the medic does go down. But so many players have gone down. The collapse from inVision on the flank coming in from choke, and now inVision spiraling in towards last. Uka gets so much capped up, it just caps it himself.
Could have been a little bit cleaner from inVision. They were chasing players in Big Door when they were stacking second, and last was sort of free hunting there, but they do manage to lock up that all-important first round here, and now I can imagine they're going to be really, really keen to try and control the pace of this game, but as we saw, the pace very much determined by Porky's impact that last time around, so we'll have to see how things pan out. A really early bomb again from Kafka, tries to eliminate Murphy nice and early, but to very little success, and we are just going to see both teams convene on their relative sides and just feel each other out here. We are seeing a decent amount of aggression from both heavies here. Aleski a little bit more healthy and supported by Borden, but a huge bomb from Kafka managed to pick up 2, as does the sniper picking off 1 more. Zio survives, and just 2 players remain from SDCK trying to do what they can, but it's going to be a full wipe from SDCK. That was quite a decisive one there.
Yeah, again, this time we saw now a third difference of having a big impact on this. Lionel Messi coming in and getting the key frags, getting Gedu as well at the tail end of that. So again, 100% Uber. Now, this is an interesting situation because we've seen two pushes so far, both trying to go from river, both completely denied by a single pyro just air blasting. So will they want to go for the same thing? Oh, Meso went for a block, but is now going to go in for a stab. He's
he was waddling for so long there, but does get picked up right rapid there. So inVision, they're going to Uber in. It's a pretty early pop here, not able to make an awful lot of space. A good denial there from T4 and at spawn, trying to just cause a bit of trouble, but Frazzy manages to pick up Gedu, so that means inVision have that all-important advantage again, and they just need to try and build it up. It's tight, but they are staring down the barrel of SDCK's last as they're desperately trying to pressure, trying to make something happen, but I think it's going to be fruitless.
Yeah, definitely a rushed Uber there. They'd lost two players. They didn't even wait for the players that they did have to get into water or anything, so they had no real pressure other than the players coming in from river. You know, Uka got some work done, but other than that, it was a complete nothing burger at all, other than the fact Lionel Messi did pick up the medics. So again, Zio has 100%, so it's going to be a huge Uber advantage once more. But it's the same place now, still no
but look at this.
Still no soldier.
But they have lost their Pyro and their Demoman. Two classes really essential for both denying point and denying that river. Aleski behind Cap, he's so painfully weak. This is going to be another round closed out by inVision. They sent their heavy into water, and they managed to pick up the two most important classes they could possibly pick up on this last. Murphy and T-Borden going down does seal that for inVision, just completely pressuring them out and managing to get that cap over the line.
Yeah, much better there, you know, knowing that not to rush, making sure they had their players in position before the push came in, and you know, while they had lost the same players as they had the previous push, they'd also got a couple of crucial picks, and that was decisive. You see SDCK probing, rushing through the right hand side into their enemy's choke, managed to push inVision completely out of them. They're now stuck with the logout. They want to go into a mirror situation, up their own right side, but Stan is going to pick up a frag onto Maze. Now going to fight Murphy on the logout. Really awkward fight. Kafka coming in and cleaning up him, but all the position for SDCK, even though they only have 3 players up, it's only the heavy, the medic and the pyro, and they have nothing to deal with this sniper of inVision, so they're going to be able to walk back in. Aleski going for a hiding spot. Is he going to win the 1v1? He does win it against Uka, but inVision just having so many players that they are going to be able to walk straight back into the mid.
It was looking really ropey for inVision as their demo and medic just got cut off as they walked up and everyone else was big dog, but their spawners come in and it means that they've got pretty phenomenal position. We do see Ubers coming out from both sides, Stan trying to just pressure as best he can, but gets reflected off the top. He's going to be well dealt with by those players, and a couple key members of inVision going down. Aleski still down on the side, SDCK, so inVision just trying to get on this cap, pressure SDCK. They're really concentrating this elbow. Kafka comes in with a huge bomb. So much damage. It's just right for cleanup here. They need somebody from inVision just to come in, try and stack and try and get this damage off, but it's all falling apart seemingly.
Oh, that was a perfect bomb by Kafka. He got so much damage down onto all those combo players, but somehow so many players for SDCK had the high ground. So he was just they just had to back up. They had to keep Zio alive. He's backed up into choke. They had to give the cap up as well, but now they have 100% to walk back in. Once they have their gamers here, they're going to have to worry about Aleski holding pretty close. Actually, they've got a drop down. It's going to Uber onto Aleski. They're in a slightly awkward position. Nowhere to chase, no cap time yet. A6 getting on the cap now, and real no target for the rest of the Uber. So it's going to be, they're going to get control of the mid, but they are going to have to worry about a bit of an advantage here for SDCK.
Yeah, that was a really turbulent mid-fight. It feels like it's still ongoing to an extent, but yeah, a lot of back and forth there, and then a slightly unfortunate use there, I suppose, when Aleski caught out Utka, so Mezzo tries to get a little something done, but it's going to be, again, just both teams staring down the barrel at each other. Gedu with a pretty reasonable 35% advantage over inVision, and they're definitely on the back foot, so SDCK need to make something happen. They're going to want to try and aggress their way through this choke before Zio gets his Uber up.
Oh, they're not going through choke at all. They're also opting to go through drop down now, and they've gone really deep, but Gedu goes down. Lionel Messi finding the crack shot through the banana as he walked up. That's a drop, I believe, and now the cleanup is here for inVision. The rest of the SDCK players getting melted on the mid. Jackie Legs trying to go in behind through drop down, but picked up by Tercio as well. That's a clean sweep for inVision. They're going to look to take it into second and perhaps even last, seeing as they have a gigantic Uber advantage.
Yeah, again, just another huge opening. inVision looking really formidable on this map. SDCK being granted very, very few opportunities to even get to inVision's last, let alone push it. Still just ticking halfway through this map now. inVision do Uber into last. Again, a lot of cap pressure going over the line, but not an awful lot of players on their side managing to get in, but they are getting the frags, which are all important there. Murphy trying to do as best he can. Bath is under, along with 4 other team players, and Murphy is just absolutely minting them. ASIC's coming in behind, has something to say about it. Oh my god, Murphy.
Oh, the Bath is so healthy on the point. Zio is with him, Stans alive as well, and just about inVision to take it. The extra beefy heels onto the boot is coming clutch at the end. It looks so good. Murphy locked so many players down, got so much damage, and looked like they were completely locked out, but the distraction of ASIC's working wonders, and Bath is clutching it at the end there for his team.
Maybe Murphy will nearly win a 5v1 on this mid as well, so it might be a bit of a convincing one from SDCK. But again, another really aggro mid from inVision. They're straight up SDCK's side. May going down, Utka chases down Murphy as well mid. Basically over for SDCK, they are completely penned here. Kafka landing behind, dealing huge damage there. Does go down, but done a huge amount of work for his team. Zio does get picked off, so that's going to sully things just a little bit for inVision, and we are seeing a little bit of a retake from SDCK, but no heals up. So many down, and they knew exactly where all of them were, so perfectly penned in that banana area, and they just got absolutely mullered.
Yeah, it's kind of just SDCK, they just look very separated on these mids an awful lot. You can see, there's certain players that are, obviously given license around, particularly Jackie Legs and May. But you often see, Aleski is pushing from different angles from Murphy, and they're not cohesive. They're not shooting the same things at the same time, and the combo play of inVision is just a little bit better on these mid fights. They're keeping their players alive. They're keeping their players on the beam, and at the moment it's all inVision.
Yeah, very much in the driving seat, and we all know how easy it is, or rather, how commonplace it is to sort of control the pace of play on this map. And 12 minutes remaining, 3 rounds up, but we are still seeing that sort of patented aggression out of inVision. They're trying to do what they can, but Uka goes down to that punishing. Oh my god, Kafka in behind, manages to get the force out of Gedu. So far back, so much damage on the SDCK players as they try to get in through this low ground. inVision 4 players down, but they are dealing a huge chunk and taking a big old meaty bite out of SDCK.
Yeah, not very much health on the SDCK. Bath is coming in with the flank as well, getting a lot of damage down onto Medic and Demo as well. And Aleski is up as well on his side. So they are going to be able to lock inVision out of the point. Zio, I think, coming in with a fake call. They know they have a bit of advantage, but it's not gigantic. It's enough to push off, but certainly, they have to go sharpish. Messi going down to a stab from Meadow. He's started to pop off a little bit in the last few minutes as his teammates big bomb in Jackie Legs towards the rock. Does pick up stance, so actually SDCK decided to bust this choke at an Uber disadvantage as they're pushing before the Uber comes in for inVision. That's an excellent bust, and Murphy once more, it's a chase on with the Contra. They're going to pick up Bath, and Zio's going to be able to run out, but only 3 up. The second cap comes in. Whether they want to go in before the sports come up for inVision or not, we will see. They're already taking the Ubers in Meer.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a mucky exchange on this point. So many players down on the side. inVision, the spawn is just coming up from SDCK. It's going to be a huge old stack here. So many players on the point. Really huge bomb from Jackie Legs. Managed to pick up 3, and SDCK's 4 remaining players stack on the point, however weak, but with no pressure coming back from inVision's players, all sat in that spawn queue. Managed to pick up a round. Is this the start of a reverse sweep here, potentially?
That was so impressive on SDCK, and it all came off the back of that mid to second push. They knew they had the Uber disadvantage. Both teams had 9 players up, so normally you'd expect players to play back at their own choke, take it slow, but they knew the time was against them. They decided to dry push before the Uber came up for inVision and completely crushed them. Now they're back in the game.
Certainly so. There is just 2 rounds in it, 10 minutes remain, and it is mid-fight number 5. Jackie Legs seemingly playing under has been spotted out, but a lot more aggression coming out of SDCK, unlike what we've seen thus far. Asex and Kafka going down on the side. inVision is certainly going to make things even easier. Mezzo getting 2 huge frags, with Zio going down as well. To Porky seals that pretty quickly. Golden Boot winner Lionel Messi does go down to Clark as well, so Nid very much sealed, just Jerkers left in the sort of outlast of it.
Yeah, you could see much better from SDCK. All the players were pressuring at the same time into the same kind of area, and I was seeing Murphy winning at the point, trying to sticky himself off. Uber does come in to save him. All the players Uber on the point, so not much cap time coming in, but just too much pressure. Everyone trying to walk on the cap getting mulched by Murphy. And a second round comes in for SDCK. They're back in it. It's still 3-2 to inVision, but SDCK have all the momentum now.
Yeah, well, they're really picking up the pace here, and Murphy has been absolutely shredding these past sort of 5-10 minutes, and inVision are going to have to return. They're going to have to do something to slow down SDCK. Again, going in with the early pressure with Kafka, and a decent chunk of damage as well to the players rotating top, but they are no different. inVision approaching it slightly more slowly. Aleski taking a big old headshot.
The way the game was going, it was SDCK kind of stepped up the aggression. inVision weren't quite up to it, so they've obviously decided to turn themselves up to 11. You know, in reverse. You can see Porky gonna try and go for a snipe. It is inVision who get the better of the mid-fight. Gedu is managed to sneak out there. He's got to worry about Jerkers, who walks in behind him. I assume it's around 8 minutes remaining, but you know, certainly, you know, enough time that SDCK aren't in a super rush to do anything, but you know, they don't want it to slow down for too long.
But inVision, they're busting straight through. Tercio and Stan are here. Oh my god, how did Gedu die?
Utka just rushed in through the baby door. There was, as we say, none of the real good fragging classes for SDCK to support Gedu. Borden getting separated as well, so it was Utka was able to run in and hit really nice close range big shots onto Gedu, so it's going to be 100% for inVision. They're in a beautiful position once more.
Yeah, SDCK, from what looked like would be a very sticky spot, has turned into a very, very sticky spot. So inVision very much staring down the barrel of SDCK's last year. They are 2 players down, and Bath is going down as well. Certainly not going to help matters, but we do see the Uber coming out, but it's looking at really, really muggy. Some huge denial from SDCK. I
love to see that. Bath is going down to the own hiding spot that he had made famous himself. Aleski pulling out a Uno reverse guard on that man, and Zio also overpeaking himself in check. Goes down. We want to see that inVision want to get aggressive once more, but Borden is somehow flanking in behind these inVision players. Does somehow, or Stan does go down to Murphy eventually. We see the pause now come in, and you know, an interesting situation. SDK 1 round down. They're on their last, but they have an Uber advantage. They have enough players to push out of second, and you know, inVision are going to have to chill back on mid. They want to stuff this momentum that suddenly SDCK have got back once more.
Yeah, it looks like a player lost on the side. SDCK has now rejoined, so they are stacking on this mid-fight. Yerkes has something to say about it, but gets near instantly swept up there by the flank of SDCK, so they're quite keen to pile this forward. They've got a 30% Uber advantage, but inVision giving them a little bit of space, but of course they have got that 20% away Uber ready to unhinge, ready to pounce on SDCK as they make space, but Kafka has something to say about it. And he manages to bomb and get a really early force on Gedu, and it's going to be really, really tricky for inVision for SDCK to get any frags off the back of this.
Yeah, and the counter Uber now coming in from inVision. There are a couple of players down, but they're going to be able to chase down onto the sniper. They've still got the high ground on the second. It's about half cap, so not a terrible situation. Clark going down as well. But the combo from SDCK is trying to push it forward, but Bath is on a high ground position, drops down to pick up Murphy, and would have survived with a sandwich, but for the fact that Mezzo came in. Still, Utka on the beam up for inVision, so the second cap will still hold, and a lot of players down for SDCK. inVision could even take it into mid if they want, but it will just be Utka and the medic at the moment. They know that Mezzo's here, they're searching for him. He does sneak out and drop down there.
A little bit of cheek there, and it looks like he's taking a bit of a pistol fight with Jerkers, but again manages to slip away. He's getting away with so much, getting so much intel for SDCK here. We do see inVision trying to bust their way through. Stan doing a decent chunk of damage onto Murphy, and has actually launched him into his side, but the backstab comes in. The setup that Mezzo was waiting for comes good, so inVision gonna have a bit of a challenge to try and bust their way into this mid now. Do see Prazu trying to just get a nice little pot shot, but nobody presenting themselves behind the nipple of mid. But Kafka looks like he wants to try and achieve something, and that something is a force.
Yeah, they do get the fort out. You see SDCK once it's in, it's actually a counter pop from inVision, perhaps a little bit too eager. I think it could have been denied by Pyro, but they're now going to have to commit. The Bowman isn't up for them yet. It takes a ton of damage, and Stan is ready to walk in now, but we can see inVision, they're very tentative. They've lost players, they don't really want to walk in because they don't have any gaps on. And SDCK are returning back to the choke, and they've not even been able to bust it because, again, Kafka has dropped out of the server. So players dropping like flies, and SDCK are ready to bust it.
Yeah, it's a slightly funky rationale for inVision. Of course, they're a round up. You know, they're definitely holding the front foot as it stands, but they're just letting silly little advantages slip away. You know, losing players, or for times having unfavorable Uber trades, forcing when really not necessary, and just letting Mezzo run circles around them. So, off the back of all that, STK have again put themselves in a situation where they could potentially tie up this map and potentially, of course, win it or take it to a golden cap, or inVision may be able to chip back away at them. So 4 minutes remain. SDCK just reconciling, trying to pull themselves together. They've got a few cracks at the egg left, but they're just convening in lobby as it stands.
Yeah, we did see, obviously, that first official for inVision, they kind of threw away a lot of good positions, you know, a little bit of choke coming into that first official. They've got a chance for redemption here, they need to hold on. They've got, you know, this is a solid position. They're on last, but both teams have uber advantage, and there's only 3 minutes for them to survive the onslaught from SDCK. So, you know, certainly an opportunity to prove themselves once more.
Yeah, the players that have been real stalwarts for the side, SDCK, Porky and Mezzo, both down, so it's going to slow them down. They've got 3 minutes 30, it's slowly ticking down, but nowhere near over just yet. But this is proving to be a very, very tight map here, as inVision just fortifying their defenses, trying to anticipate whatever it is SDCK have in that big old bag of theirs, and see what they can do about it.
Yeah, at the moment there's not too much pressure coming in. It's just a couple of trying to sneak under. Porky actually picked up by the sentry gun while he goes for it. Now they're trying to pressure. They've got to deal with Arthur's. So many players coming down, descending on him, and Homeless is going to run towards them. But they do pick Arthur's up. The flank is down as well. Stan at the moment has stickers ready for Aleski. Jacalex is there. Well, he's actually turned around and gets so much damage out to Aleski. And will just about survive with 20 health.
Oh my god.
Towards the point, but the push does not quite happen for SDCK.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really, really ropey for SDCK there, but T-Borden and Jackie came in, reflected so many players. Jackie got like 4 players down to sub 30 HP, and that cap's so tantalizingly close. It's a bit painful from their perspective, but nowhere near over yet, as they have got those faster spawners. Jerker's the only player from inVision posing a risk thus far, and SDCK have a decent chunk of time on that last cap, so have a little bit of time, in spite of their 40% disadvantage, to try and see what the approach is going to be here.
You can see inVision wanted to push out there, but with Stan getting picked up in lobby by the Spy, one of the disadvantages of the kind of that solo demo lobby hold, it meant that there was absolutely going to be no push happening, no need to risk it. They only have like a 40% uber advantage, so you know, with all the spawners up for SDCK now, I see no reason for them to really go for a push out. Just 1.5 minutes left. You can see Aleski trying to get aggressive in river once more, waiting for an arrow, but he's going to have to wait for his friends, I think, before he pushes under. And you can see Kafka's actually rotated back under as well, so he's going to have a little bit of help.
Yeah, a lot of pressure being applied to SDCK. The clock not looking so favourable now. They've got a couple players underneath. It's going to be both Aleski and Borden, but Jerkers is fully aware of buying them while invisible, and it looks like they want to play cap. SDCK Uber on. It is the counter out of inVision, but they've got all the high ground here. They've just got to worry about the players under, but no cap pressure applied just yet. Jackie Legs does bomb in, does a decent chunk of damage, managed to pick up Stan. It's just a bit of a melee on the point, but inVision ultimately cleaning up SDCK better than the sort of vis-a-vis players up from SDCK. This is an almost certain push out from inVision, surely, with 50 seconds left.
Well, there's only a couple of players left for them as well. Porky is still alive, still peeking, rotating different angles. Now he's peeking shot to pick up another pick. but the sports are going to come in for inVision. Team 1 wants to go for a desperate final push, takes so much damage picked up eventually by Betty as well. But we can see May running towards the point now, but there is the Vaccinator coming out from Zio onto the heavy weapons guy of Barth's, and it's going to be one desperate last push here for SDCK.
This is a really, really ski spot for them to be in. 15 seconds, 4 players down, and nearly all of the players up from Team inVision, and I think the map may be sealed. Forky managing to pick up Kafka, but I don't think it's quite going to be enough. 5 seconds remain. It's a last sort of bum rush for that point. The bonk has been popped. There's 4 players on the cap. They're dealing with that Vaccinator, and I must say, a very impressive win out of inVision. I never thought a Galiosh could be that enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, very well done to inVision, coming through, clutching it in the big game. They must have had nerves, must have had worries after what happened in their previous game, but they clutched it. They take the 3 points for Galiosh. It's going to be a 3-3 for 3 points for either side coming out of this fixture. But after what was a pretty dominating performance on the first map, inVision doing really, really well to come back.
I suppose we could have a quick squiz at these logs, and jumping instantly out at me is the damage difference between these two demo men.
Messi doing a crazy amount of work, absolute work for his team, but it just wasn't enough. Make sure you stick with us on Critscast. We'll have more Highlander action coming up for you very, very soon. So make sure you're following the channel. Make sure you sub as well if you want to support the channel. You can also support us with Patreon on merch as well. And make sure you're checking out all the VODs of these matches on YouTube.
Yep, so thank you very much for watching, everyone. It has been me, Meer, joined by Dave, the unsung hero of production. Again, it's going to be Core, put in a huge one once again. So thanks very much for joining us, and we will catch you on the next one.
Hi, old beaver! Away!